Hello everybody and welcome back to Sew Aldo. On today's sewing tutorial, I am going to show you how to make a pattern from your clothes. It's going to be super easy and foolproof. So if you want to see how, then keep on watching. For today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use a sweater as a pattern. So I chose this one because I love the fit and using a big piece of paper. I actually got this from Lowe's in the painting section. I think this is used to line up the floor when you are painting. I absolutely love it because it is very cheap, but also the thickness of the paper is very nice and it's really good and it's not going to rip really easily. But of course, you can use any type of paper that you like. But I would say this is a good sturdy paper to use for pattern making. Like I had mentioned earlier, this is going to be super easy. So basically, I'm just going to trace half of the sweater, so half of the front bodice and then half of the back bodice and then the sleeve. I will be using these washable markers, so when I trace along the edges, I am not going to stain the sweater. That is also a cheaper alternative for those disappearing ink. Now I am simply going to fold the sweater in half just like this, and I'm going to place it on the very edge of the pattern or the paper. And then I am going to trace along the points. So I trace the side seams, the hemline, the shoulder, and the neckline. I did not include the neckband. And then I am going to trace the arm side by using a pin. I am basically poking a hole on the paper and then I am going to follow the dots that I created. Now I am going to connect all the dotted lines that I drew earlier, and then I am going to mark it here on fold, and this is going to be the back bodice. And then I'm going to cut it out. So on the hemline, I added 1/2 inch seam allowance. And for the rest, I use 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. It's totally up to you how much allowance you would like to add. I will be using my serger for my sweater project. That is why I only added 1/4 of an inch. Feel free to add how much seam allowance that you are comfortable with. After that, I am going to trace this pattern that I cut out on a different sheet of paper. I will be making a front bodice pattern, but basically you can use that same pattern for the front and back. I then lowered the neckline by about 1.5 inches, and then I decided to add like a v-neck option, so I lowered it about 3 inches. I did not add any more seam allowances because it was included in the previous pattern earlier. I also did not cut out the neckline because I can easily fold it. If I want a v-neck, I will just fold it in just like this. And if I want a round neck, I can easily use the pattern. Now it's time to trace the sleeve. As you can see, I fold the paper in half so it will be traced on fold. And I also adjusted the sleeve length because it was too long. So I am going to trace it just like I did earlier. And I'm also going to use a pin to trace the arm side. I adjusted the inseam of the sleeve by about 1/2 inch in. I wanted the arm or sleeve a little tighter on the wrist. I also added 1/2 inch seam allowance on the hemline and 1/4 of an inch on the inseam and on the arm side. And then I will label it and the patterns are ready. I hope this is helpful. If it did, don't forget to likes and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also hit the bell icon so you will get notified whenever I post a new one. I hope to see you soon. Bye!